What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and the Game Award nominees for 2020 are here. And the game that divided more fans than any other. The game that got destroyed by so many people around the world. The game that sat and rotted on shelves. The game that destroyed its characters' legacies. The game that lied to their consumers. The game that shoved woke identity politics down your throats. And then if you didn't like it, the developer, the voice actors, so many other people decided to shame you for it. Call you an ish, call you a phobe, call you a bigot. The Last of Us Part 2 has come away with more nominations than any other game. And it shouldn't be a surprise, considering the people that decide these nominations are the same shills that have been defending this thing the entire time. Let's take a look at all the games involved in the Game Awards for 2020. And like I said, the big one that everyone talks about is Game of the Year. Take a look at some of these nominations. You got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, which is my pick for Game of the Year 2020. Hades, a huge winner in these nominees. Something that I haven't seen too many people talking about, but a lot of people are going to talk about it now with all of these nominations. Animal Crossing, a little surprised to see Animal Crossing up here for Game of the Year. Not that it didn't sell like crazy, but still, it's a little surprised it's in this category. And then Last of Us Part 2 right there. And like I said, it shouldn't really be a surprise. We're going to look at a lot of things, including people's reaction to this, but let's take a look at all the other things that it got nominated for. Best Game Direction, well, there it is, Last of Us Part 2, along with several other of these. Half-Life Alyx in there as well. So a lot of people upset that Half-Life Alyx didn't get a possible nod for Game of the Year. Did see a lot of people saying that. Best Narrative, again, Last of Us 2, along with Ghost of Tsushima and Hades in there as well. Best Art Direction, The Last of Us Part 2. Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII also get in there quite a bit. Again, Hades right there as well. Best Score and Music, Doom Eternal. I know a lot of people hoping Doom Eternal gets that one, but all the way to the right, Last of Us Part 2. Best Audio Design, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2. Best Performances, this is the one that made everybody laugh. The fact that you have two people from The Last of Us Part 2 in this is kind of laughable, to be honest with you. You have Ellie and Abby, Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson. Now, with that being said, both of them are, very talented voice actresses, apart from anything that the actual game is about. So there you have it, as well as Daisuke Suju as Jin Sakai. I really hope Daisuke wins. I don't know if it's Daisuke. I always say Daisuke. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm probably just butchering his name. As well as Najee Jeter as Miles Morales all the way in there as well. A couple nods for Miles Morales. But you go through the rest of these. There's not really too much of the big stuff to talk about. Obviously, your indie games, your mobile games, community support, best VR, things like that. Innovation and accessibility. Also, The Last of Us Part 2 gets a nod, as well as Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legions. Now, that is, I do think that's well-deserved. A well-deserved nomination because they did make it a point to make sure they did things for blind people, like people that were sight impaired, things like that. It really went above and beyond to make sure everyone could play their garbage-ass game. But we've talked about it a million times. We've talked about it a million times before. This is The Last of Us Part 2, which had the most backlash I think I've ever seen from a game. So many people absolutely hated this story, so much so that the bot accounts needed to come back and get this game from a 3 on Metacritic back up to a 5.7. 75,000 reviews. We showed on this channel several times the fake review boosting that was going on. Now, that's not to say that every single negative review was real. We exposed some review bombing as well. That happens with every game. But it was to the max with this game because it was so absolutely divisive. And when you look at Game of the Year on Twitter, you got a lot of people, you got the weirdos with pronouns in their bios celebrating the fact that Last of Us 2 has been nominated, right? Because that is who their fans are. They're fans. The stands of this game, by and large, the ones that are still watching my videos months and months and months later, are fucking weirdos. They're people who can't decide what gender they are. They're fucking 15-year-olds. That's who their fan base is because that's who they are appealing to with this woke nonsense. And that's in a lot of ways who's celebrating these things. Now, I did want to say I saw here one thing that I think got missed out that I didn't even see when I was first going through it. Persona 5. There's got to be Persona 5 somewhere. Persona 5 didn't get a single nomination. Let me see if I do this. Game of the Year Persona. Yeah, right here. I guess Persona 5 having the highest Metacritic score accounted for nothing. Yeah, so it got snubbed, like, completely. No Persona 5 Royal in there. I just know a lot of people are upset about that. But by and large, for the most part, you have everybody standing their game, and then the weirdos standing The Last of Us Part 2, celebrating The Last of Us Part 2. But how did it get the nomination? I wanted to find that out. The Game Awards recognizes and upholds creative and technical excellence in the global video game industry. We bring together a diverse group of game developers, game players, and notable names from pop culture to celebrate and advance gaming's position as the most immersive, challenging, and inspiring form of entertainment. We strive to recognize those who improve the well-being of the community and elevate voices that represent the future of the medium. Okay, well, how are your games decided? How do you get these nominations? I wanted to dig a little deeper. Nominees for most categories are chosen by an international jury of over 95 global media and influencer outlets selected for their history of critical evaluation of games. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? Of course, it means game journalists. Games journalists are who vote on this. So the same fucking shills, the same people who decided to give good reviews in exchange for access, in exchange for having these people on their channels, the same people who decided to tout all the woke narratives that were involved in this, right? This is why you shouldn't really take this too seriously. You should take it with a grain of salt, because the people that are deciding these nominations are the games journalists. They are the laughingstock of the community. These are the people that get to decide not only the nominees, really, but also the winner. Because at the end of the day, to decide the winner, they take 90% of these people, games journalists, the ones that we mock constantly. 90% of that is taken from their decision. The other 10%, to be fair, does get to be chosen by the fans. Whether that's enough to make a difference or not, I'm not sure, but everybody can go and create an account and sign in just to vote. Now, I may sign in, create an account just to vote for Ghost of Tsushima, to be honest, because I had such an incredible time with that game, and I feel like it's truly deserving for Game of the Year. I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference, but I do know what the vast majority of this 10% is going to come from. We know the kind of people that are going to take their time to vote for The Last of Us Part 2. I think we all know that the loser army, the same people, right? The same people that have been in my mentions for freaking months because I didn't like The Last of Us Part 2. Those same losers, you know that they're going to spend all day creating accounts and spam voting for The Last of Us Part 2. We all understand that. We all realize that. That's why at the end of the day, I do think you should make your voice heard. But when it comes down to December 10th and they announce the winner, if The Last of Us Part 2 ends up winning, you shouldn't be surprised, and also, you shouldn't take it too seriously, because the nominations are a joke, and the fact that it's this fan voting thing, I think it's cool, but at the same time, you know people are going to game the system. The same people, right? The same people that created fake accounts to review Boost The Last of Us Part 2. The same people that created accounts to try to review bomb Ghost of Tsushima. They have nothing better to do with their lives. But we did get word. Let's look at the word from Dr. Druckmann, Neil Druckmann, Neil Cuckman himself. Congrats, dogs. Never take for granted the incredible talent I get to work with every single day. And big congrats to all the other amazing nominees in their fantastic games. Never take for granted the people you have to work with. Of course, never forget that this is the guy. That was in charge of, we talked about crunch for Cyberpunk. The Naughty Dog crunch had ridiculous staff turnover. 70% of people quit or left because of the working conditions at Naughty Dog. So there you go, Neil Druckmann. Never forget to appreciate those people that you drove into quitting. Never forget them, I guess. Neil Druckmann, I'm sure, is going to celebrate a victory if this eventually does happen. But I think we all know. I think all normal people understand what's going on here. And just like the Oscars, the elite weirdos that get to decide the winners of these things, no one takes you seriously, because games journalists don't represent actual gamers. Hollywood elitists don't represent actual people that consume movies. And that's where the disconnect is. That's why, just like the Oscars and things like that, people are going to go away shaking their heads because it's such a stupid decision. That's what we will ultimately see with The Last of Us Part 2. But I'm always going to take an opportunity to talk about this game and shit on this game when I get a chance, because Naughty Dog went around and tried to silence criticism. They went and copyright struck channels, false copyright strikes on my channel, Gaming with Geeks, Geeks and Gamers, so many other people in the community, because they wanted to hide from criticism. So I will never stop talking about Neil Druckmann or Naughty Dog and what they've done, because I will never forget what they tried to do to me, to silence me, to get me off the internet. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my PO box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.